Computer. Okay. Happy Tuesday, you guys. It's been a week. It already feels like Friday for me. But we are going to do a training about leading with the business. This is something that Marielle Filippone, she trained on this at Bronze Academy. And it was something I was already kind of starting to like dabble in and starting to get comfortable with, but she dropped some really big golden nuggets there that I wanted to share. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If I can figure out how to navigate this thing. There we go. Okay. So the basics, number one is don't prejudge or pre-qualify. This is something that I did a lot when I first got started just in this industry was, I'd want to reach out to someone. I know that they would either benefit from like an additional income or they would be really, really good at this business. And I'd be like, they wouldn't be interested. But I've done that one too many times. And then I've watched people go and join somebody else. So that's the biggest thing, is to just like get that out of your mindset. Don't prejudge, don't pre-qualify, and just reach out to them, because if you don't, somebody else will. Number two is have confidence and excitement for what you're sharing and inviting them to look at. This is again going back to like our ABC list, our chicken list. If I ever like in the past have found myself, whether it was with Q or especially in my previous company, when I started losing confidence in the business plan and just the company and the compensation plan as a whole, that's when I started getting scared to reach out to people. And it's been so different here, right? Because it's like we have this, or at least I do, and as you all should, is you should have this unshakable confidence and excitement for what Q has to offer, especially right now in the timing that we have. It is something that we need to be sharing with everybody. And as long as you have that confidence and excitement, it's gonna propel you forward to reach out to those people that you would probably be scared to reach out to in the first place. And people can hear that too in your voice. And so I really think using like voice messages too is huge. I didn't do that at first, and that has also propelled just my business by being personable and sharing my voice, and just so that people can hear your excitement. The third thing is to keep it simple. No word vomit. I am the queen of word vomit. So this is really something that I always have to remind myself, is when I'm about to send a voice message, first of all, it cuts you off after a minute. So I always try now. I was giving myself a minute timeline, and now I give myself about 30 seconds. Like, keep it simple. You are just piquing interest. And when they respond, then, you take it from there. You can't say the right things to the wrong person, and you cannot say the wrong things to the right person. This is something that is so true. I think a lot of the times in this business too, you may be afraid, like, you don't have to be the expert, but people want to hear your excitement. They don't want to hear from a know-it-all. And so you don't worry about what you're saying. I mean, definitely we could all use work on our messaging. I know that I did. But ultimately at the end of the day, like, when you have a connection with somebody and you're building a relationship with them, you can't say, the wrong thing to them. And then if this business is just not right for somebody, there's nothing that you can say to convince them. And we don't want to convince people anyways, because then it becomes a lot of work to work with those ambassadors. Number 5, be genuine, be authentic. Be yourself. I know that like we share a lot of like scripts and things with you all to give you ideas of what to say, but take that and use it as an example and make it your own. People follow you and people love you for who you are, so stay true to that. Number 6, share what is in it for them. How can Q help whoever you are reaching out to? Take the spotlight off of you. Yes, edification, plays a part when we get to that point, but when we're initially reaching out to somebody, you want to be genuinely sharing like, hey, I thought of you because blah, blah, blah. And then, inserting how you think that this business can help them. And then how can you relate to them? Hold on, this is covered. If you can't, who can you connect them to, and cue whose story that they need to hear? Doesn't matter if they don't have to be a leader. They can be somebody who just joined this business. So really knowing them good enough to be able to connect them to somebody that they would benefit from hearing from. And lastly, I actually heard this in church the other day, and it really stuck with me. And it was, if you want to dig for gold, you have to dig through dirt first. So this really goes to the amount of people that you are reaching out for. We all want to have success in this business. That's why we're here. But there's going to be, there's going to be, you don't need a bunch of all-stars on your team. You just need those people, those runners, those people that get it, those people that really want this. And you're going to have to dig through, some dirt before you get there. And not just that, but dirt can also be in reference to our skills. I've been here over a year and a half now, and anybody can, Cass can specifically speak to this, but I've had to learn a lot of new skills here. And without kind of dealing with my own dirt in the way that I was going about this business, I wasn't able to fine tune those to then start and move the needle in my business towards that gold, if that makes sense. Okay. Treating this like a business, never get out of phase one. Allocate. This is something that I have really been trying to do every single day. It's getting easier now that my daughter's getting older. There was a period I wasn't able to do this. So obviously, your life, your circumstances, and how much time you can really allocate to this business. But allocate 20 minutes to an hour for income producing activities. This is, messages being sent, follow-ups, having conversations, making new connections on social media or in person, whatever that is, talking about your business, the wins that, people on your team are having. It doesn't have to be on your personal team, but it can even be sidelines or anywhere in the company, right? What kind of growth is the company having and the team having? If you have a team, work on your business first. This was not something that I was doing. And I was getting stuck in management mode. And not only was that hurting my team, because obviously here with Q, we are blessed to be able to help our team grow their business by making those placements. And so without focusing on my business first, and same for you, if you have a team, you aren't able to continue growing and continuing to bless your team in that way. And you also never know who you are going to find that's going to be the next Brittany Hitch, right? And so really you have to work on your business first. That's whether you're recruiting or getting new customers, whatever angle you are taking here. Work on your business first, and then after that, go into reaching out to your team, doing follow-ups with that. How can you help support your team? This is something, the next point, and this is really a part of staying in phase one, is that peaking and inviting, right? I have, since a little bit before convention, been focusing on inviting 2 to 3 people a day to either attend a QIQ if we have one, or find a time that works for them that week to attend one. And I will give them 2 options. Hop on a one-on-one with me. If they aren't able to, jump on a call, get in a 3-way chat, or hop on a 3-way call with me, watch a recording, whatever it is. I am making sure that I always have at least 2 to 3 people, sometimes more than that, in my funnel to be to reach out to them and be you know what, today's the day. I think you need to get your eyes on something. Are you free? Blah, 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 whenever. And this has really helped me, one, not only get out of my own head and get out of that place where I kept hitting these like spots where I was feeling stuck. And when we feel stuck in our business, it kind of puts us in this place of being defeated. And I kept getting in that place of being defeated. And this has really, really helped me not go to that place, because I know every single day, that's how I start my day. I start my day by inviting people to a call, whether that night or later in the day, or sorry, later in the week. So that is just a little nugget that I know most of the leaders here. I heard Cass say that she, you know, the amount of people she invites a day. And I was like, okay, she's at gold. And it's like, just teach me what to do, right? So stay in that phase one. Okay, how to lead with the business. Gosh, you guys' faces, I love seeing your faces, but they're blocking my presentation. Okay, number one, are you on Q News every Monday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time? Are you on the CEO call? These calls are very important for you to be able to pick up the stats, pick up the growth that is happening. What is Q doing next? Like, they're always, you know, have stuff up their sleeves to help us in the field grow. And it's important to be on those calls. Also, our leaders in our corporate pay attention to who is on those calls. So that's obviously, like, life happens and not everybody's able to be on those calls, but if you can be on the call live, and if you can't, just make sure you're going back and watching the recording or getting the information somehow. Because when you are talking, this brings me to my next point. When you are talking to somebody that is business minded, which is who we want to be reaching out to, facts tell. So any business-minded person is going to want to know stats and facts. They want to know what kind of growth the company is happening, or what kind of growth in the company is happening. I've even had somebody ask me how many six-figure income earners we have. They want to know what the average time that people are staying in the company. They want to know things about, like, everything from products to growth we're happening worldwide. Those things really matter to anybody who is business minded, and they will ask you questions that you'll want to know the answer to. So you don't want to be like fishing for those when the time comes and you're in a conversation like that. It also helps you when you are reaching out to somebody about the business to lead with facts like that. Because what we have here, the growth that we're having and the stats that we have, is very rare and is not the norm in this industry. And then stories sell. So after you present the facts, really, then you're gonna want to be connecting them to somebody that has a relatable story. And again, like I said, that's not always a top earner. Sometimes it is, you know, somebody who just joined the business. So keep that in mind. Just connect them to somebody that has a relatable story. What do I share? That's a big question. So you're going to want to share facts, percentages, growth, stats, all of the things that are going to be presented on the Q News and the CEO calls. Okay. Why isn't this letting me move? Social media strategy. Your business is not open if your mouth is shut. So I think a lot of the times, even working with some of my personal ambassadors that will say, I'm feeling so defeated, like nobody's interested. And my first question is always, well, when was the last time you mentioned something? When was the last time you did a peak post? When was the last time you shared about the business? And usually it hasn't been a while. So if you're not talking about it, people are living their own lives, right? Like, nobody's, as much as we think that people are paying attention to us, they're really not. Like, I mean, yes, people are watching, but, like, you know, they don't know, like, is she still doing that thing? I don't know. So your business isn't open if your mouth is shut. Keep talking, keep sharing about it. I promise you that consistency, which is my last point, that consistency, it goes a long way. Shout out other people's wins, share others' business stories, no matter how small. Like, a win is a win. So share those. Your feed is validation. So if somebody sees your story, or if somebody sees a reel pop up, like on your discovery page, and they're like, oh, that's kind of interesting, I'm gonna go creep her page. if they go creep your page and you've got nothing like business related on there, then, you know, it gives them kind of no reason to hang around unless you've got a super interesting page. That obviously, you know, is something too. But when if your purpose is to attract business partners and leaders in this industry, you are going to want to have that being showcased on your profile. Aesthetic is great, but consistency is louder. So your page can look really pretty and that's like really nice and attractive. But when somebody comes to your page, they're going to want to see like, I mean, people are creeps, right? Like they're going to scroll back. I've done this. They're going to scroll back and be like, how long has this girl been doing this? You know, or is this just like a hype and she's going to leave it? Like, how long has she been doing this? Is she consistent? Does she like just pop in once a month and share about this? So be consistent in this. I know sometimes that part is super exhausting, and you know, I wake up some days and I don't want to post about this business. I don't want to get on my stories and talk. I'm tired. And so on those days, I'll just do I'll just do something, you know, I take a day off, which is great for engagement too. So keep that in mind, but, just having that consistency. Okay. This is going into the nuggets that Marielle shared. Who are the top 10 people you want to share this business with right now? Think about that. Write those people down. These are people that like, when you think of them, you're like, I know they would kill it at this business, but I am terrified to reach out to them. Listen, if you don't, like I said, somebody else will, and you never know like what their situation is right now. So even if they are in another company, even if, you know, they are, I don't know, going through like life things, like you just never know when circumstances change. And so just reaching out to them, being genuine, and coming from a place where, again, like, you know, you're always coming from a good place. It's not like, you're not ever like, I had somebody accuse me of poaching once, and that's not ever like, you know, what we're doing. So this is an example that Marielle shared. And if you guys saw her email come out, you saw this. So this is something I've been saying lately and it's working. I also have a few other examples, and I always voice message this. Hi, Sandy. Listen, I have no idea if you're in a season where you would be remotely open to taking a look at something. You've always been someone I greatly admire in business, or however you look up to them. Sometimes I don't look up to them in business. Sometimes it's like, I really look up to you and how you are so consistent in your health journey, or I really look up to you and just how you show up as a mom. If I were to send you something that I believe you need to get your eyes and ears on, would you take a look? So far, I have not had one person say no to me. So if they say yes, I have had somebody ghost me though. So if they say yes, send we have a few actually floating around right now that have come out since convention. Send the brief 8-minute overview, gives them a snapshot, and is enough to pique their interest. If they are playing Casper the Ghost with you, I had somebody do this to me, and I just sent a voice message and I said, hey, I just wanted to follow up and see if like you listened to my previous message. Curiosity is not commitment. I know that you are the caliber of leader that our owners or somebody on our advisory council would love to meet with. So let me know if, you know, this is something that you would be interested in taking a look at. And then if they don't respond from there, then again, they're not somebody that I would want to work with anyways, because that means that that's how they would treat this business, you know? Okay, other examples that I've used, again, always using a voice message. Hey, Sandy, this might sound crazy, and I've been a little intimidated to reach out to you, but I figured today was the day. I know we're both in the industry and I want to be respectful of where you're at, or if they're not, then, you know, obviously leave that part out. I admire you as a mom and how you genuinely show up on social media. You know, I'm always rooting you on, but I really felt the nudge to share something with you. I know I'd regret it if I didn't, so please hear my heart in this. As you know, or maybe you don't, but I imagine you've seen my stories and my posts. I'm with Q. Obviously I love the products, but the growth we are seeing and the impact we are making is something I've always dreamed of as a leader. It's super exciting and is truly something I believe you need to get your eyes and ears on. Are you free at all this week to chat, just you and I? This is again a message that I have personally been sending to those people I've had a relationship with, and I've been afraid to reach out to them, and I finally have just been doing it. And they've been super receptive. Sometimes people are like, you know, I'm super happy where I'm at, and I'm not interested at this time, but I'm like, you know, if anything ever changes, you'll be the first person I reach out to. And that's the whole point. I don't know if you guys saw what I shared earlier in the GrowCo Telegram chat. Again, another message I heard at church this Sunday. It was a powerful message. But you know, we're all going to have those seasons. Like, you have to have a planting season, and everybody has to be planting if you want this business to have a harvest season. And sending a voice message, asking somebody to take a look at what we have to offer here, it hurts nobody.
Yes.
Nobody. And so when you're coming from a genuine place, and you know, sharing this with that, just genuinely sharing your confidence and excitement about what we have to offer, even if they're not interested at this time, you have no idea how closely they're watching you, and who's going to come back, you know, in a few months and be like, you know what, turns out I'm not as happy as I thought I was, and I would love to chat with you. So always throw it out there. And then following up. This is something that Marielle also shared. So I used to follow up with people and be like, what would I say? I would say, what did you think of the call? And people would either ghost me or like, I don't know, they would say like, oh, that's cool, but I just don't think that like it's something I could do. And so what I've been doing actually this week, which has worked really well, is, hey, I hope you were able to attend or like watch the recording until the end. What caught your eye the most? And that's it. It's like open-ended question, leaving it up to them to share like what caught your eye. And that opens up a whole can of worms for conversation.
If you want to get warm, come on.
Okay, face-to-face conversations. This is something I'm like naturally pretty introverted. This business has really pushed me out of my little shell, but I've been getting more comfortable with face-to-face conversations. And I will tell you that it is also changing my business. So one, if you don't have business cards, I would highly recommend doing them. Rue made mine and I love them. And she'll work with you to make those, and they were super easy. So have business cards on you at all times, whether you're at the nail salon, grabbing to go food, soccer practice, getting a massage, if you're at the gym, etc., wherever
can you
are.
walk over here and hand me the spray?
I was actually at the gym today, and you know, I was having a rough day. 27 weeks pregnant, not feeling it. I'm like, did not want to be there working out. And this woman approached me and she's like, I just got into working out. Like, what should I do for like legs? And I'm like, sister, I don't know. But anyways, we had a conversation, and we ended up talking for like 20 minutes. Obviously I just moved to Utah. So, and I would have never done this like 2 months ago, but I was like, so are you just starting like on your fitness journey? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm partnered with a health and wellness company, and I think that this would be right up your alley and something that you need to take a look at. Can I give you my business card? And I want you to text me, and I'm going to invite you to I'll either say like, today I invited her to attend a call. But she's also somebody that texted me, and we're going to go grab coffee. So you just never know like who you're going to interact with. Like, if you give your business card to someone and they never contact you, whatever, you lose nothing from that. But you don't know who's going to snag that and is looking for an opportunity, whether they're looking for products or if they're looking for an actual business opportunity, which a lot of people are right now. Another thing that I have been doing is just being super friendly with, even if I'm going to like order takeout or I don't know, at the massage or whatever, I just say like, how long have you been working here? Do you enjoy it? I just kind of start to get nosy. And if they at all like have any kind of like hesitation to like, oh, this is kind of just something I'm doing in the meantime, then again, that is a open, door opportunity for me to then be like, listen, I'm going to give you my business card. I am partnered with a health and wellness company. I want you to text me. Let's find a time to go grab coffee or go grab lunch. I would love to treat you. And I have something that I want to share with you that I think is going to blow your mind and would be so great for you. And that's it. It's just piquing interest, and it's opening the door to build another relationship and build the opportunity to have another business partner or another customer. I think that's it. So that's it, guys. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Do you guys have anything that you personally want to share with how you've been navigating the business or how you're leading with the business? I'm going to check the chat real quick.
I have a question, Sage.
Yeah.
So I know I'm like barely getting started really confidently with the ABC list. And I really just want to reach out to people because the hype for me is real about the business. But when do you feel like that level of comfortability with asking? Because again, I'm trying to like unlearn things from my previous stuff where they were like, just ask, go for the no. And I don't want to do that. I want to do it in a way that like, this is the cookie. I know I have it. When is the right time to do it without scaring them off?
Yeah. I think that this is just different depending on, I think it's different depending on like what your conversation has like gone like I've connected with people on social media where we've only been chatting for a few days, but like the conversation has been fire, like we've just like hit it off. Like there's just going to be people that you hit it off with right away. There's been a few crying emoji faces. Like there's been a good connection, right? Yeah. And the conversation has gone so smoothly and just run so easily. Mm-hmm. And if it's a situation like that, then I will usually I kind of like before I go to bed at night, I like make a note in my head of who I want to reach out to the next morning. And then I will the next morning just reach out to them and I'll say something along the lines of like, okay, I know this is going to sound crazy because we literally like just started connecting, but I feel like we really hit it off and I have something that I think that would be right up your alley and I really want to share it with you. Do you have any time this week to connect?
I like that.
Yeah. So just something, like that. When I was first starting this, I would like write it out on a piece of paper and then I'd read it from the piece of paper because I was just so nervous and that helped me like not have word vomit. So yeah, if it's a conversation that's flowing like that, then I'll do it within like a few days or a week. If it is somebody like, there's people on social media, where, you're kind of interacting back and forth with their stories, like maybe once a day, maybe once every other couple days. I put those people in Cass taught me this on actually one of our social media trainings, like a few weeks ago. I put them in, I now have like right now I have a February potentials folder and I make sure that I go back into that and I am interacting with those people's stories every single day. And I don't know, I think again, it just depends on like how the conversation is going. Sometimes it's a few days, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a few months. It just kind of, yeah, it just kind of depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Someone post a link for Mariel's and GrowCo. Yeah, the 8-minute recording. Yeah, we can post that. I'll post that once I stop the recording. Does anybody have any other other questions. Again, I'm like not really an expert on this. This is just something that I feel like I've started leading with the business probably like the last 2 to 3 months, and I've seen a lot of growth just in my business, and I've seen more consistency, and I've seen that like my funnel has not is just there's constantly people in the well, and that's what we want. All right, well, if nobody else has any questions, I will stop sharing this. And yeah. If nobody else has any questions, I'll stop the recording. Let me figure out how to do that first.